Hi, love bugs. Welcome to Rookie's World, and today is story time day. I was just thinking about some things, and I was like laughing about some of my past, and I forgot what reminded me of this story time because, honey, this is one of those stories I tried to suppress, y'all. I wanted to lock it away and throw away the key, but. I thought of it for some reason. I can't remember. My memory is just like short. But anyways, I want to tell you guys about the time that I went to jail. And before I went, I got beat up by the police. Okay? So let's just hop right on into it. So anyways, when I was maybe 15 or maybe 15, 16-ish, somewhere in there. But it was before I had a license because I don't think I got my actual driver's license until I was 18. Okay? Because nobody would trust me with their car to go. And part of the reason why is because I can't drive. Like, honestly, yeah, still can't drive. So, and I'll tell you that backstory too about why I can't drive. So I'll tell you that first. So the reason why I can't drive is because I suffer from anxiety, right? And it hasn't always been bad, but I think it was brought on by the fact that my oldest sister's husband put me in a car and put me on the interstate at age 12 and told me to figure it out. And if you know Nashville, Tennessee, it was on the interstate over by West End, over by the old Gaddy's restaurant. And y'all know that was super busy and scary. And the fact that I was 12 years old with no driving experience really didn't help. So anyway, that's what caused me to have anxiety about driving. And also, since then, I've been in a few wrecks. And it just makes me cautious and... I have a fear of driving. But I do it anyways because nothing is going to stop me, honey. God did not put fear in my heart in that way. He didn't design me to be fearful. So, no. But anyway, so now how I went to jail. So, my boyfriend, the same boyfriend from the last story time that took my little V card, he stuck around, y'all. He stayed my boyfriend for many years. And so he bought me my first car, right? And my mother, of course, didn't have any idea that her daughter had a car. Because if she did, she would have did that whole wait until it's hell thing like old girl, Angela Bassett, and burnt that thing to the ground, I'm pretty sure. And I knew this, so I took the car and I parked it all the way down the street and around the corner almost. And I would hop in it sporadically when I didn't think the neighbors would see me. Because my neighbors, honey, back in those days, honey, everybody raised you. It really did take a village. Because, those neighbors would tell anything they saw, And they could spank you, too. Yeah, they didn't spank often because my own mother didn't spank me. But I did at least get a few from neighbors. So, anyways, back to the story. So, I have this car, and of course, my boyfriend is doing illegal activity, and he's posted up at this house, and the house had been ran hot, and there were Vice, which are like undercover cops that were out watching them sporadically. Right? And this happened to be one of those times. And I always joke and I always say that I have ESP or whatever. But at that time, I do think that I really did have some sort of form of ESP. And the reason why I say this is because I would just pop up out of my sleep and just knew when he was in trouble, right? And I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. And if y'all ever get to meet him, he'll tell you the exact same thing. And I would call him frantic, like, where are you? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And, he'd be like, what's wrong? I'm like, just listen, just leave there. I'm coming to get you, just whatever. It would just always be a situation where I would force him to leave wherever he was and call me because we didn't have cell phones at the time, it was house phones. And then I would make him call me from like a payphone or something or go to somebody's house and call me so I could know he was, away from danger. And I kid you not, every single time that happened, somebody went to jail that same day from that same location. I don't know how my body just knew it, but I just knew it. Like, Girl, I love that boy. So anyways, I jumped the same day, same thing. I jump up and I'm calling and I'm calling and I'm texting. Well, we call it beeping. We didn't text back then. We paged. I paged him. And so he calls back and I was like, you gotta go. He's like, nah, man, I was like, no, you gotta go. You gotta get up out of there now. He's like, well, I ain't got no ride. So I knew it was not a good time for me to be trying to hop in this car and go, because everybody's up. People gonna snitch on me. I was sure of it, but I had to go get my man, honey. It was ride or die. So at the time, he had bought me this little kitten. So I told him, I said, I'm on my way. I scooped my little kitten up, and she and I were headed to him, which was not that far. It was only a few blocks away, maybe, about 4 blocks away, right? But here I am, my non-driver's license, non-knowing how to drive, self, okay, in my car that my mother had no idea that I had. Honey, listen, all this stuff is just wrong. It's just wrong. So kids out there, if you're listening to me, please learn it from me. Don't do this, okay? Anyways. So I go up there, I pick him up. He comes out. We didn't know that when I picked him up, the Vice were telling us, right? So I'm making illegal turns because I don't know the difference. I've never used signals. I haven't driven enough to know, what I'm supposed to be doing. So, he didn't live far from there, and his mother didn't live far from there. So we pull up into the driveway of the apartments, and it's like a row of apartments. And so, it wasn't hard for the police to see us. So when we pulled in, they pulled in right behind us, and they're on the little horn, and they're like, screaming out to me to put my hands up over my head and to not move. And it was all just going so fast, and it was all just so loud, and it was so early in the morning, and I just was shocked, okay? And so back then, whenever I would get really, really nervous, I would laugh. So girl, I'm crying laughing, and I'm scratching my head. So now by this time, there's a cop on my driver's side, and there's also a cop on his side, and they've got guns pointed at us and everything. And I keep scratching my head. So the cop on my side, he's calling me, he's cursing me out. And mind you, I'm underage, I'm maybe 15. And he's cursing me out, and he's calling me the B word. He's telling me, to put my damn hands, back up in the air and quit moving and yada, yada, yada. And I think one point he said he would shoot me. And thank God he didn't. So then they pulled my boyfriend out of the car with ease. I didn't see him, get attacked or anything. But then they pulled me out the car, which I was a different damn story. I don't know if I look like more of a threat than him, although I'm barely 100 pounds at this time. So they pulled me out. They bumped my head on the top of the car. Like, they pulled me out by my ponytail. So they bumped my head on top of the car, and then immediately take me to the back of the car and slam my face down like this on the trunk. So I smacked the trunk, okay? True story. And they're cursing at me, and they're asking me about where the drugs at, and I'm like, what drugs? Oh, and to back up, whenever I would pick him up, I would always make sure that he didn't have anything on him, because I was afraid of drugs. Although I knew what he was doing, I never wanted to be around it, because I was terrified. So I would always make him promise that he would never, have anything around me and stuff like that, and he would always agree. And thank God he really, was a man of his word, because at that moment, I probably would have gotten, taken from my mother's custody and everything. It probably would have been a bigger deal than what it was, even though it was a pretty huge deal. So they've got me on the back of the car. They've put my little bitty wrist, and at that time my wrists were even smaller than this. They handcuffed me, and so they're like slamming me, boom, boom, trying to break me so that I could talk. But thank God I didn't know anything, because I always told him too, I don't want to be involved in that way. I don't want to know exactly what it is that you're doing. Because like some of the girls back then that were dating those type of guys, they were really involved, like with, selling stuff and all the type of stuff. And I was just like, no, I was like, I really don't want you to do this. But since you're doing it, and of course I did like the gifts that came with it, let's be honest, okay? But, I was like, you just don't tell me. I don't want to know. So I really didn't know, honestly. So they were asking me if I knew this person, if I knew that person, and they were telling me that I was lying and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, really, I'm not lying. I don't know these people. I really don't. So after they smacked me around a few times, then they realized that I was not lying and that I was underage, right? And meanwhile, over on the side, they got him over on the side, him up by a tree, and he's crying. Like, he's got real tears because they're really, beating me up. And he's like, man, that's fucked up. Don't do her like that, man. She don't know nothing. She don't know nothing. I swear to God, she don't know nothing. All right, he's crying. And, like, I'm still laughing, and they think that I'm actually laughing, like, trying to be, like, hard or, badass. Not even the case. I'm laughing because I'm scared out of my mind because my own mother don't hit me. So the fact that they slamming me and, pulling my hair and cursing me out, I'm like totally not used to this. Like, I know I'm black and I know they say that's like what black people go through. But listen, I didn't go through this, okay? So my first experience with this was at the hands of white police officers, okay? And so, yeah, it really was police brutality to a black minor. But I'm not even trying to jump on this whole police brutality thing. It's just what happened. It's part of the story. It's true. Okay. So then they realize I'm a minor. So they call my mom and she comes down. And that was the worst part of being arrested because she was like an old slave master. I didn't raise you like this. All I do is go to work and provide for you, and this is how you repay me. I told y'all the last story, she's got an ugly cry, and that I stand true to. She has the same cry to this day, okay? And she's oh, you gonna learn. Oh, today you are going to learn. If you think I'm coming to get you, you are sadly mistaken, little girl. You're gonna learn. That was her words. And she lived up to them, child. She was not playing no games. In fact, girl, when I got there, I'm thinking, my mom gonna come get me. She gonna come get me. I was in the holding cell with some people that I knew from around the way, and we was chopping it up and banging on the walls, boom, 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 making beats, boom, 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 boom. We were having a blast. Do you hear me? Okay, so it was like 3 holding cells. So it's like 2 guys on the end, 2 guys in the middle, and then me and 2 girls in the last one. And so I asked them what they were in there for. They were in there for shoplifting, girl. They were still in bathing suits, and in fact, they actually had on one bathing suit apiece from what they had stolen. And stuff, and they were having a blast. So we're in there having a water fight, and of course, I told you the guys in the other room were beatboxing and beating on the walls next to us and telling jokes, and the fun we had until doom doom. Everybody else went home except me. So then I'm feeling like nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Because by this time, they're cleaning up. Now, everybody that been to juvie knows that by the time they go through and send people to clean up and stuff, you about to have to put on one of them suits and you about to have to stay. When I realized that, because I'd heard the stories. I had never been, but I'd heard the stories. I realized that it was getting dark. It was getting late. And she still hadn't come. Then it was a different story. Then it was all my emotions came down. But I still couldn't cry because I'm just like shocked. I'm like, what am I going to do to get up out of here? Because by this time, let me backtrack. I done cursed out the lady at the front because she was saying something smart to me, and then she told me that I couldn't get a phone call, and she said, and girl, man, I was beefing, honey. She told me, she said, you keep on getting smart with your little ugly ass. She called me ugly. She's like, with your little ugly ass. She was like, I'll make sure they feed you a spoonful of spaghetti. I will never forget she said that. She did. And so, I'm beefing with her. But anyways, y'all, at the end of the day, girl, my mother left me in there for 14 whole hours, and they had to threaten her to tell her if she did not come and get me, that they were going to hold her in contempt or arrest her or something. I forgot what they told her, but they threatened her and made that ass finally come and get me. But I do want to thank her on today for scaring me so bad that I've never seen the inside of another jail cell. And I pray for the rest of my life, as long as I live, that I never ever have to see another one. So thank you, Mama. And that's my story, y'all. And y'all know I love y'all down. And there's nothing y'all can do about it.